All right, so first things first. You're going to get some audio and video changes in this video because I'm lazy and I'm not recording a voiceover. I do these quickly off the cuff. You guys should know that already. But the information is still valid. So I see a lot of you guys talking about how you can assign different things all over the board and make changes and parameter changes and all that fun stuff and all that funky stuff. So we're going to talk real quickly about how you can do parameter changes with a stomp switch. You guys already saw the video how to assign multiple things to a switch. So you can, I still have that set up. You see how all those turn on and off at will as I push the button. So this is in stomp mode, by the way, so keep that in mind. So the next thing I'm going to show you guys is I'm going to show you guys how to go about changing parameters within a preset. Okay, so say you want a little less reverb or a little more delay, or you want the delay time to change, or you want a little more or less overdrive. I'm going to show you how to go about doing that. So the first thing we'll do is I'll go over to the distortion parameter real quick where we have the Screamer 808. And what I'm going to do is, while I have everything that turns on and off here, okay, I'm going to set up a second stomp switch here to increase and decrease the gain on that individual pedal. Okay, so we go over to the distortion. We press and hold the two page buttons once again. We go to bypass control. Okay, and instead of bypass being here, you're going to press and you're going to go to gain on this particular one. So you can control gain, tone, and level on this particular overdrive. This will change, where the parameter here will change depending on what pedal you have. So every parameter that each pedal offers will be available for you to edit here depending on what pedal it is. So if you see how this one has gain, tone, level, okay, if we go over to the delay, you're going to have delay time, delay feedback, mix, level, scale, and trails. That's all going to change depending on the pedal. If we go to the reverb, it'll be decay time, pre-delay, low cut, high cut, everything that's preset for that particular pedal you're using, okay? So let's go back to the distortion real quick. So let's say on now foot switch 2, we want to assign more gain or less gain, either way. So we'll go over, we'll set the parameter to gain. We're going to turn this over to foot switch 2, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to set the minimum value here at whatever the gain's set out now. So I happen to know in this parameter that it's set at 6 currently, okay? And then the max value we're going to go with is 8, okay? So this is the level it's going to turn up to. This is its normal state, okay? At this point, what we're going to do is we're going to press like that. We're going to go home. I'm going to save the preset. Now, if you watch the gain, see the gain just jumped to 8, and now it's 6. 8, 6. And then what will happen is in stomp mode, this preset will turn white. So that's effects edit, basically. And if you look, it's also currently turning on and off my effects loop. So I want to change that. So we're going to go over to the effects loop. We're going to press the two page buttons again, hit bypass control, turn that off on foot switch 2, set that to none. That way the loop is always on this one. I want it to be off, and then we'll hit save. So this button will now turn all those effects on and off, and then this one will turn the gain up and down on that pedal. You could do the same thing for level. If you want on that same foot switch to also make the level of the amp louder, say you want it to be your lead preset, okay? So what we can do is we can go over to the amp, okay? Again, press the two page buttons, go to bypass control, and we want it to be louder. So we'll come over here and we'll come over to master volume or channel volume. We'll do channel volume. And then we'll set this also to controller 2, foot switch 2. And then we want the minimum volume to be what it's currently set at. I'm going to guess it's currently set around 6. You'll have to check beforehand to see what you're actually set at. And then I want the value to come up by a little over a dB, about a dB and a half. and click save. Double click, save the preset. Now, if you look here, master volume, see the channel volume? Goes from 7.5 to 6. Now, also while it's doing that, it's also changing the distortion preset. See? We're at 6. And then it goes up to 8. Now, let's say you have this first pedal that we had originally set up the other day in the other video. So in this, if you want this to be a different color, you can do that as well. What you have to do is you have to go back into preset edit, and then the last parameter you change or the last amp that you set will be whatever color this is. So if you want this to be red, because it's technically going from clean to dirty is basically what it's doing. So if you go in here, okay, and we go to edit again, bypass control, okay, so if you want this to be your amp, you would set this to foot switch 1 and see now that. So the last thing that you change here will be whatever color this button is. So if you wanted it to be delay, you go over to the delay, change that from foot switch 1, and then set it to foot switch 1 again. So you unassign it, then reassign it. Then it'll be that color. Same with the reverb. Turn it off, turn it back on. Now the pedal's orange. You can go down here. If you want it to be the compressor, turn it off, turn it back on. Now that button is yellow. So that's quickly how you can assign parameter changes on the PodGO itself. Now I'll show you guys how to do it in PodGO Edit. All right, so now we're going to take a look at PodGO Edit and how to set this all up in PodGO Edit. So if you look here on, this is the same preset we had loaded up. You can see that foot switch 1 and foot switch 2 are assigned currently. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we'll go back to foot switch 2. Okay, and the parameters that we had edited are the gain on the distortion. So if we take a look here, there's these two little white arrows. So this sets your minimum and maximum level. Okay, so if we slide this down further, that's going to make now your minimum 5, and we'll change the maximum to 9. Okay. So now when those get clicked on the PodGO, you'll see they go between those two options. Oh, I moved it. I set it up wrong. Hold on. That was my fault. So now you can see that change. And that works for any parameter you want to change. Okay? So it's basically the same thing. You would click on foot switch 2. You assign it to foot switch 2. Okay? And then on foot switch 2, you would set your minimum and maximum, whatever you want them to be. So say on foot switch 3, you want to have different delay times. Okay? So you're going to go to 3. You can go to this pedal. You're going to assign it to 3. Okay? So now that's assigned to 3. And you want to have your minimum and maximum settings. So you would select here, foot switch 3 for time. Okay. You set your minimum setting. Like you want your minimum to be 400 milliseconds or so. And then you want your max to be 600. Now when you press foot switch 3, it'll switch between those two parameters. And that's pretty much how you set up parameter changes. Remember, you can have up to 64 parameter changes on any foot switch. So you can assign this to anything you want. As the delay goes up, you can change the feedback. You can click on the same button and assign it to the feedback. You could go like this.
Set your minimum, feedback, and maximum as usual. Well, so when it's... One second. So when it's low, your feedback will be higher. And when it's maxed out, your feedback will be more. So we'll change that up to 50. So now when you click the switch, now they both jump up, they both come back down, and so on and so forth. So that's how you go about setting that up in PodGO Edit. Again, if you guys have any other questions, you need any other information regarding parameter changes and assigning them to foot switches, just, hit me up in the comments below, hit me up on the Facebook group, and go join the Facebook group. Make sure you click like and subscribe. I need the subscribers. I need the subs, baby. I need the subs. But I will talk to you guys later. Peace.